So, welcome to another Cosmic Rose Honey Wednesday. So, let us open up our circle. If you have any questions just pertaining to your life right now, anything that you're moving through emotionally regarding your personal healing journey, or anything pertaining to your Kundalini process, let me know. Oh, cool. Yurka's joining in too. Let me just let him in. I think it's letting. Hi, Yurka. So nice to see you. We're just getting started with a Q&A, Yurka. So if you have any questions, you can just unmute and then we're gonna, go through any questions and stuff and we'll start the meditation. Hello, so nice to see you.
Hello, hello
Hello,
everybody. Nice to see
welcome.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you
Wow.
have any questions pertaining to, I know you were sharing with me just through Messenger, dancing with Shakti. If there's any questions coming up about your journey or what you're experiencing that I can support you with, just let me know and we can chat about it.
Okay, I'm gonna think about it. It's quite
Yeah.
late here, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of I'm kind of almost in a sleepy mode, but
hmm
yes, I'm gonna think about it.
Yeah, take your time, feel into it. There's some time afterwards, after the meditation as well. If you
Mhm.
have any ideas or anything coming through after the meditation, we can chat about it too.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
amazing. My pleasure. So glad you're here.
Mhm.
Stephanie, Kylie, is there anything that I can support you with today?
Um, so I have a question. Oh, sorry, I totally came off
Yeah.
of the video.
Yeah,
Sorry.
all good, all good. Yeah.
Um, so I guess this is so I've been wanting to work with you. So I kind of like joined this to kind of like, meet you and see,
Yay.
how it works. I've been very interested in like Kundalini for a
Mm-hmm.
few years, but just never really stepped in it.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot of different things, I've seen a lot of different things, but like I just feel like it would be such a peaceful thing, more of a scary thing. I guess like a few years ago, it was more of like told to me in like this scary sense of like, something to experience. So I guess like my question is like how would you start like kind of like dipping your toe into that practice, like kind of
Mm-hmm.
coming from I've done my own research, but just coming from a blank slate, like how would you you know advise
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, amazing question. So first of all, just you being here is an amazing start. If you're still kind of like dipping your toes in and you're like, I'm not 100% sure, I always recommend people joining in these free weekly meditations and just kind of seeing how you feel, seeing how the space supports you. There is so much information about Kundalini out there. And I think that sometimes when, again, like it's so normal that we're in our minds, we're like, I want to understand what this is. I want to understand, is it like good? Is it bad? Is it safe? Is it dangerous? And then we start researching. But sometimes when we go on Google or even YouTube, there is so much information that it can be so overwhelming. And in a sense, it almost disconnects us from our heart and the initial pull that brings us into the practice. So, one thing that I always really believe in the Kundalini process, especially through the path of the feminine, is that the divine is reaching out to us as much as we are reaching out to it, right? I feel like a lot of the times when we think about spiritual practices, it's like there's so much pressure on ourselves, right? It's like, what practices am I supposed to do? How do I do it right? How do I make sure that, it's in a certain way so that I can get a certain result? When in reality, it's like the fact that we have the impulse to question, the fact that we have the intuitive pull towards Kundalini, towards a lay down activation practice, towards a meditation, towards even, Kriya or yoga based practices, it's like there's already that intelligence that is working for us, right? So I think the most important thing, and again, it's going to differ from person to person, which is why I always advise people to come back to their hearts and kind of listen to where the energy and the intelligence is bringing them to. Again, these meditations are a really great starting point. And also, the lay down activation, so what I facilitate as Kundalini codes activation journeys, those ones are really, really incredible direct experiences of this work. It's almost like hard to put into words to describe. I can go into like, this is what could potentially happen. But in short, those experiences are really creating the space where your nervous system gets to relax and soften. We get to shift out of the habitual left brain logical thinking and come into more the right brain, a space of openness and surrender where we feel more than we think. So that's often
Mm.
really much a place that people start at in my world, is that, they'll come to one of these meditations, they'll join one of the activations. Like we have one coming up this Sunday, they're $33 USD. So really great for you to kind of dip your toes in and kind of see if that's a practice for you. Something else too that I have coming up that's going to be happening August 8th, I was just working on the graphic prior to this call, is once every quarter or so, I do like a giant free Kundalini activation experience. So I shared about this last week. We're moving into the season of Beauty and the Beast. So everything that I'm teaching this year is like fairy tale theme. So the season of Beauty and the Beast is really looking at uniting your inner masculine and feminine energy. And there's going to be a free experience that's about 2.5, 3 hours long on August 8th. So that will also give you a very comprehensive taste of my body of work, of the experience. There's going to be a full activation journey in there included. So that's like another really great starting point too. So I think the biggest thing is to know that like you can't get it wrong. Like wherever your heart is guiding you to, it's almost like seeing it less like, okay, like what do I have to do? What's the right step? And more coming back into like that childlike exploration, like, ooh, what kind of pulls me? What's exciting? What's like, making me feel like a little bit butterflies and fuzzy inside, and following that one step at a time. Does that answer your question?
Oh my gosh, it was perfect.
Yay.
Very great. When you mentioned pressure, honestly, that is exactly what it is. It's so much of it, and it's like I know what my heart is like. When you say like get excited, like I know that this work gets me excited, and the work that I do,
Mm-hmm.
like in my magical work, it's like
Yay.
I always question everything. So I
Mm.
very much appreciate that answer. Thank you very much. And
Yeah.
I did mark down August 8th, so I am prepared. Thank you.
Yay! I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, it's gonna be super fun. And yeah, like you're totally not alone in feeling that pressure, right? Just really want you to know that is like we've just been so conditioned, like at large, to approach everything from that place of like, I have to do it right. Like it's truly been one of the most liberating things I found on this journey with Kundalini and really embracing the feminine path, the Shakti path, is that we get to realize that again, the divine is reaching out to us. The guidance is there. It's wanting to move us in whatever the path is that is the best for us. So it's less about us needing to think about what do I do, and more about perking up our ears and listening to what the divine is singing to us in every moment. Sometimes that might come through as like an Instagram reel that you see, or like you're talking to a friend and they're telling you about something, right? So it's really just kind of keeping that receptivity and openness to it, following one step at a time, and just knowing that you can't do the wrong thing. And yeah, it's always cool in hindsight. You look back, you're like, oh, yeah, like all the puzzle pieces have added up.
I love it.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for being here, Kylie. Cool. Marcia, welcome to the space. Do you have any questions today, or Stephanie?
I can't think of any questions in particular, just some things that I'm noticing within my journey.
Mm-hmm.
I guess being more in my feelings, emotionally.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that's a huge part of this process. It's a beautiful gift, and it can also be so uncomfortable. So, like, when you feel the rawness, you feel the intensity of it, just really taking it slow. I always say, like, put your arms around yourself, like, hold your own face, and just let yourself know, like, it's okay to feel all of this. It's honestly, it can be so uncomfortable, but in the long term, this is one of the most liberating things that we can do for our being. Like just even this past weekend, I was leading a retreat and we were just talking about this point, this epiphany of how like everything that we cling on to, that we attach, or we try to run away from, right? You know, a lot of like even Buddhist teachings or spiritual teachings talk about, okay, relinquishing attachment. And it's like, why do we attach to things? Why do we want to hold on to certain things, push things away? Like everything that we do, the meanings that we create, the stories that we create, it all comes down to wanting to avoid certain feelings. Right? We think about this, a story that we tell ourselves, like, I'm not good enough, I'm going to fail, this isn't going to work out, who am I to do this and that? Like all of these things that really create so much of our day-to-day suffering is all because we don't want to feel something. So it's so powerful when we're in that like deep space of feeling, and as we're feeling, we're opening our hearts, we're softening, and we're reminding ourselves every step of the way, like, you got this. And sometimes it doesn't feel okay, and it's like, it's okay to not be okay, but I'm going to feel it like one little bit at a time. And over time, you develop the embodied evidence in your nervous system that it is safe for me to feel. And the more that we feel safe to feel, the less we have to fear, because you're like, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to be okay. It's just going to be uncomfortable, but I don't have to spend all of my life and all of my life force anticipating the worst case scenarios, protecting myself. So yeah, I just really want to celebrate you right now and just say, continue to feel, let the tears flow, let the laughter flow, and whatever else wants to come up to dance. Amazing. Marcia, would you like to share anything before we get started?
I'm all good. I'm just here to experience the space.
Yay. Amazing. Thank you for being here. All right. So if we're all feeling good, then we can get started. I'm going to pin myself for the meditation. So for those of you, if it's your first time into the space for Cosmic Rose Honey, I'll just explain a little bit about how this meditation works and what we're about to go into. So Cosmic Rose Honey is a frequency of energy, and this silent Shakti meditation that came to me about the end of October 2023. And it all happened during one of the Shaktipat meditations that I had with my teacher, when all of a sudden, in my mind's eye, with my eyes closed, I saw what was like a giant cosmic rose pouring like a pot of honey in my head. And instantaneously, I felt the coding, the opening, like the nectar of divine grace. And over the coming weeks after that, it came forth that this is supposed to be a free experience that I run every single week. And I've been doing it since early November, I believe. So essentially, what we're doing is we're creating the space in our body and our hearts to soften and open up to the downwards descending grace of the Divine Mother, of the Divine Shakti. Again, in habitual spiritual practices and Kundalini traditions, we're used to hearing about what we have to do to force and to push and self-direct and like get the energy up, awaken the energy. And that is one path of working with Kundalini. However, the truth is that in every single moment, the Divine Mother is calling out to us. She's guiding us to open our hearts and opening up our devotion, opening up our willingness to receive her grace and to receive her support in helping us transform our consciousness. So as we go into this meditation, what we're practicing is being in that state of receptivity, of opening our hearts, so that the downwards descending grace of truth, love, peace, and bliss can come through the crown of our head. And it works almost like in a reverse process than what we're typically used to hearing in the Kundalini journey, right? So instead of opening from root all the way up, we're actually opening first the crown, we're opening the third eye, we're opening the throat, we're opening the heart, we're opening all the chakras down, and then stimulating the upwards ascent of our Kundalini in her own divine timing. So this meditation is done in silence, and all you have to do is just really soften your being, soften your field, and feel yourself melting and emerging with all the different sensations that you feel. And if at any point you feel a little bit distracted, your mind's getting loud and coming in the way, just know that that's a natural part of this process. In these meditations and in any form of the experiences that I guide, whether through KCA journeys or yoga practices, I always say that the thoughts are not meant to be fought, right? We don't have to get rid of our thoughts. We don't have to fight with our thoughts. All we have to do is just practice breathing with them and surrendering into them. If it's also more helpful for you to have some kind of an inner visual cue to focus and meditate on, you can, with your eyes closed, focus up towards the crown of your head. And with every inhale, just feel that golden descending nectar of divine grace coming right through the crown of your head. So that's basically the meditation. and we're going to get started. So if you just want to shake out maybe your shoulders, shake out your chest, if you need to roll out your wrist or move any part of your body, maybe your neck, to just allow yourself to loosen and be as comfortable as possible. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to take one deep breath in through the nose. We're going to let out one deep sigh out through the mouth. So taking a deep breath in, exhaling out. And closing our eyes, bringing all of our awareness inwards. Feeling as your heart becomes softer and softer, your being relaxes more and more. And here we call upon the grace of our Divine Mother Sophia, Divine Mother Shakti, Shakti Ma. Please come into our shared field. Please help open our hearts, open our minds, and open our field to receive your infinite love and grace. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So allowing yourself to open, we're going to begin the meditation for 20 minutes, and I will let you know once the meditation is over. Taking a deep breath in. Filling yourself up completely, briefly suspending your breath. And exhale slowly through the nose. Allowing yourself to come back into this time and space. Slowly at your own pace, opening your eyes.